Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to Astroneer, where we're going to take a very quick look at the summer update. Now, keep in mind, this is what they call the EXO Flight Test, basically a beta version of the update. So there could be some bugs, there could be some things that get finalized before this goes into the full release. But if you are on Steam, you can opt into the EFT and go ahead and start playing this today. Otherwise, the plan is for this to come out on June 21st on all platforms. Of course, again, that could change. But the reason we're here at the start menu is to not only show you that version number up there, but also so I can go in and hit start a new game, so I can show you one of the things that was featured there on that main screen, and that is a couple of new summer-themed suits. We have the Sunrise palette and the Sunset palette, which kind of matches my current visor, which my current visor is the Sunset. That is new as well. And then there is the Sunrise. Of course, they are both animated on those visors. You can see that the sun's rays are kind of moving around on that one. And on the Sunset, it kind of animates some twinkly little stars and some light effects into the Astroneer logo and everything. These are time limited. They're available for everybody who updates, but you have to log in before August 31st, I believe is the date on that, in order to claim your suits. If you do not log in, then you're going to miss them completely. But I'm going to go ahead and load up my save file so that we can get into the game and take a look at some of the new items that are available as well. You're going to see a lot of them. I'll just go through them in the same order that they're listed in the patch notes that I am reading straight from Discord. This is the Astroneer Discord server that I'm on in their patch notes room. And we're going to head over this way. You've already probably spotted a couple things. One of the first new things is the Recreational Canopy. This big boy is printed on the large printer, costs 2 aluminum, 1 steel, 1 explosive powder, and has a byte cost of 4,000. You are able to plug it in, as I've done, so that you can provide power to these tier 2 storage slots up here. You can also just put power in those tier 2 storage if you so desire. There are 2 lights that are just on sometimes. Sometimes they're not. But going with it is the Recreational Sphere, which we have right here. And you just saw one of the things Recreational Canopy does. The Recreational Sphere is printed on the medium printer. It has a resource cost of 1 aluminum alloy and 1 rubber, and a byte cost of 4,500. So these 2 things together, almost 10,000 bytes. Really pricey. But, you know, once your basic survival needs are met and you're just wanting to have some fun in Astroneer, you can afford it. And there you go. Once the Recreational Sphere goes in, you're able to score a point, get a goal, and the fireworks shoot off. One of the cool things, though, is our lovely little zebra, checkers, and leopard balls also work. So no matter whether checkers, zebra, or Leo is your Lord and Savior. Well, it didn't go in because the big one's in the way. There we go. You can score a point with those guys as well. I don't know what's up with that constant bouncing sound once the Recreational Sphere goes in, but whatever. So you can see the size in relation to an Astroneer it's rather large, which means you can play that a good game of Astro Ball with a buggy, a rover, whatever you want to do, bounce it around. It has really good physics. It has really good reflections. I recorded this video once already, and it was nighttime. And you can see the band of stars reflected in it quite beautifully. It looked great, but here in the daytime, not a lot for it to reflect. But it looks fantastic. It's really well done. And that brings us to some base items, storage items, things like that. Starting with the medium platform C, which I have a couple of right over here. Just a small little round platform with a tier 2 storage slot, 3 different power slots, and of course tripod legs. It can hold whatever tier 2 item you want to put on it. There's a couple in this update that kind of go really well with it. This is printed on the small printer, just needs 1 resin, and it has a really small byte cost of only 400. I'm going to go ahead and plop that guy back on there because we're going to move on to our tall platform here. If I can get turned around and look at it, let's go around this way. The tall platform, which you can see I have one of the tall storages on top of it. There is up there a tier 2 storage slot. just like there is on top of the medium platform C. So anything that's a tier 2, as you can see, like the zebra balls, anything that's tier 2, you can put on top of one of those. I've chosen to extend it out with tall storage. And that tall storage, same round base, same tripod, same 3 plugs. And then it also has, at the top of it, 4 tier 1s that the new Floodlight goes in. And we'll talk about the Floodlight in just a minute. And of course, we've also already mentioned the tall storage. So we'll take a look at that guy. So that one, oh, by the way, this guy, the tall platform, small printer, 1 copper, 1,000 bytes. Now, our tall storage is also printed on the small printer. It requires 1 ceramic and only 400 bytes. It has 3 tier 1 slots. Again, you can put whatever tier 1 item you want in there. One of the cool things, though, about this, the way it's angled, we've got one that just follows a 90-degree off of the pole, and then 2 that are kind of pointed down into 45. You can use that in conjunction with the Recreational Canopy. You can just have it up there and have spotlights shining straight down in front, and then one that shines just straight behind it. Or you can take it and put it on these guys back here. You now have one that is shining quite a bit of light behind, and then 2 that are lighting up the playing field. And they actually do provide a good amount of light when you've got floodlights put on there. You can see that that's lighting up a pretty good distance. I'll turn my Astroneer around. So, you know, if you've had 1 or 2 of those for the ends, it would provide you a good amount of light. And then if you had a couple other lights around the sides, that would look really well as, or they look really good in addition to the others. So, yeah, the tall storage is kind of flexible because of that. And then again, you could put this on any tiers 2 storage. So if you wanted to create a really bizarre, you know, rover full of these guys, you know, off at weird angles, you could. I've kind of got like the like big box store parking lot effect going on. And I just realized I put one back earlier when I recorded this video. Put it back in correctly. So anyways, that is the tall storage. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but it is ceramic, 1 ceramic, 400 bytes, and on the small printer. And that brings us to the medium storage silo, which is this guy right here. We can pop him down so you can kind of get a good look at him. 24 tier 1 slots as I spin him around. So we've got 12 on each side. I think it looks really cool, holding a big stack of batteries. Don't like the way when you've got 2 of them kind of side by side, the whatever's on the inner parts overlap, and it doesn't matter if you turn it that way or that way, they're still going to overlap, but it's all right. It works. I also have put it to use for gathering soil on my large rover. I have one over here that is just full of 24 canisters. Basically, it's 3 times the storage of a medium storage. So I don't know how much of those I'll still be using. Even though when they are combined with some of the platforms or on an angle, they do wind up taking up a lot of space because they kind of stick out and they get into that, you know, visual space that you were working with. But that is printed on the small printer, requires 2 titanium, so rather pricey there. And it's 3,000 bytes for that silo. But still, 24 slots in the same amount of space that you could only store 8 items previously. Not a bad thing. But then there is the Floodlight, which we've kind of already seen. The Floodlight can stand on its own, or it can go into any tier 1 slot. And of course, if it has power, that means it also produces light. So if you wanted to have it on your backpack as your work light, I guess you could, though I think it would just point straight up. I don't know how much good you're going to get out of that. Maybe if you're just wanting to light up a cave, you know what? Let's test it. I haven't gone down in a cave with one of these on my backpack to see how much light they really give off. So I've got a cave entrance right here. So let's find out real quick. And the answer is a bit. I mean, I guess they light up above you if that's what you're really needing to see, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So maybe not the best backpack item, but they make great headlights for rovers, tractors, things like that. And then, of course, you can see now that it's nighttime here at my base just how much light these things really do put out when you've got them all grouped together. I especially like how when you stack up these guys, the I haven't gotten everybody's name now. A tall platform with a tall storage. Get them all stacked up. You can get like different layers of light going. I even have them turned around, or I did have them turned around. Let's fix that. So that the one that's pointing out straight is kind of shining over there. That one's not quite lined up right, but shining out there toward my shuttle to kind of give the shuttle a nice spotlighted look, especially coming from these two over here. Just like a space shuttle would have looked sitting on the launching platform, and the way rocket ships still do today at night, you know, just spotlighted and everything. And I plan on having a few more. This is not where the canopy is going to live. We will move that around. But the floodlight is, again, from your backpack, 1 tungsten and 2,000 bytes. There are a couple other things that have changed in this update as well, but they're not new items. One, I haven't been able to actually produce yet, but a lot of the deadly hazard plants that actively seek to kill you now have a chance of giving you a mutant harmless seed, so that if you plant that harmless seed, you have that same plant, but just for decorative purposes. You know, so I guess you could probably have a bounce vine. I would assume, maybe not, because they're not truly, I don't know, I don't consider a bounce vine a hazard. I guess it can kill you if you hit it enough, but you can have, you know, maybe some of those noxious flowers from Aatrox. I think they'd look beautiful planted over there, just kind of glowing at night. I think that'd be fantastic. You can have, you know, the those few flowers, the hispines, the boomaloon. You can have all those guys just chilling in a garden as decoration, without having to worry that you can't go over by your garden and admire them because your plants will kill you. So that's kind of a nice thing. I'm really glad to see that they've added that in there as well. They've also updated the reticule for our train tool just a little bit. It's easier to really get a sense for it, but basically the reticule now kind of adjusts in relation to your orientation. So if you're standing on a really steep incline and aiming downward towards something, I don't know how to really best explain it. I saw it and it made sense to me when I was mining a bunch of Titanite during my live stream recently. But I'm not sure how to really explain it without kind of really just showing it. So I'm going to stand here on a really steep incline and then get that out. You can see that you get a better idea of exactly what direction, that you're going to be drilling down, and the same if you're going to be aligning or raising the train. It just, I don't know, it seems like it gives it a little bit of a better orientation so that you know exactly what you're going to be doing. I have the hiccups while I'm making this video. You'll have to excuse me. There's been also some things that have been added in relation to vehicles. The cables, now in addition to being able to bend vertically and laterally, they can twist a little bit up to 15 degrees. So those cables there can, so basically this trailer can be on a different axis than that trailer by up to 15 degrees. So that's kind of cool. There is now a braking assist in the vehicles. So you may remember on rovers and buggies and everything that it took them a while to stop sometimes. Now they stop faster than they speed up. You can see there, that's a fast stop. That was full braking and boom, it stopped, which is awesome. They've also applied friction or braking friction to wheels across an entire caravan. So it's no longer just the front vehicle. I think that's how it used to be. It was just the front vehicle stopping it. Now there is a little bit of friction on each wheel in a caravan. Caravans have been behaving rather strangely for me. If I hook this up to this end, it will all work fine. If I can see it, look it up. Come on, there you go. You do it. You do it. I believe in you. I've got it parked really close together. For some reason, small spaces are always the hardest ones to bridge in Astroneer. Okay, well, fine. We can fix that. Yep, there we go. Showing off what's new in Astroneer and can't plug in a rover. Anyway, there we go. So I don't know if it'll happen here. It seems like the first time I get in a vehicle, anytime I load the game, I get this really weird shimmy, shake, like what I call snaking effect, where it just kind of starts on its own. No, it's not going to do it. So, okay. It's not doing it this way, but I bet I can get it to do it. So by the way, you notice that it stopped a whole lot better when I jumped out. Yeah, we'll talk about what happened there in a minute. That's a good thing. So if I connect this at the other end, which in the past, these caravans have kind of been agnostic about, what's the front and what's the back. They don't care. As long as they're hooked up and going a direction, they'll just go that direction. But now it seems as though maybe there is a true change. And I don't know, if I'm not mistaken, there's nothing on these. I didn't mean to pick that up, and I'd really like it to go back. Let's try using the mouse. There we go. I don't think there's arrows or anything. Yeah, there's nothing that really indicates what's the front and what's the back that I'm aware of. But when I'm hooked up like this, I get this really bad... There. I'm not steering. That's not me causing this thing to go right and left. That's just the rover doing that. And if I look behind me, you can see it looks like a snake trying to work its way down the road. Not sure what's really happening there. Makes it really hard to drive, though. You can drive it. It is possible to control, but it's... You're kind of always fighting against it, trying to figure out which way it's going to go next. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. But again, the problem doesn't happen when I have this caravan hooked up the other direction. So just rather strange behavior. But in addition to all of that, if you release the throttle below a certain speed, the parking brake is automatically engaged. So there I coasted like normal because I was going pretty fast. But if I go slow and... Hold on, let me stop. If I go slow, boom, parking brake. And that comes in handy on inclines. I can't count the number of times that I've wanted to stop and look at something while I'm in my rover and going down to the core of the planet, and I can't. But there, I didn't stop that. It stopped itself, and it's not rolling away. So that worked really well. In addition, if you jump out of a vehicle, jump out of a vehicle while it's in motion, it instantly applies the handbrake. It also has just that stronger braking to prevent runaway rovers. If ever you've been going in to an incline or something and you get the vehicle going way over its design speed and you try to stop, you know that it's just next to impossible. The brakes just can't do it. Now, with the braking force being applied and with the handbrake and everything, you can actually do it. I'll get this thing over speed. Before, if this would have happened, I would have just had to run out at the end of the ramp. Now I can actually stop this guy. I don't know the number of times that I've had a vehicle get over speed down in a cave and it's just run off and crashed and I've had to dig it out. And now you can actually control that. So that's kind of handy. I don't have any lights on this rover right now, though. So we're going to get out of this cave because it's really too dark down here to continue talking about that. Plus, it's really hard for me to read the notes that need to be scrolled down to lower in the page while I'm driving. There we go. 6 stunt, bro. Apparently, there's also improved handling, letting you to execute maneuvers like donuts and sick tricks. I don't know. Can you really do a donut in one of these? I've never really tried. It's probably buggies and stuff. I don't think these go fast enough. Anyways, they have done some things like that. Tow boost improvements basically change how the force is applied. Also, I wanted to get this disconnected because of some drill improvements. This is going to be loud, but now when you are driving and drilling, if you're not pointing up, down, left, or right, the drill will drill relative to gravity so that you are drilling flat. And you can kind of see that is taking effect. I've been drilling in this space, so it will cause a problem. It also now, however, properly turns. Before, when you were drilling, if you turned, you had to wait until the rover made the turn, and then it would kind of make the turn. Well, now, the drill itself turns. So if I turn the drill on, you can see that starts drilling over to the right way before the rover really started making the turn. So you can get better tunnels at an angle now than you previously could, and I dig that. I think that's a good idea. They've also increased your acceleration going uphill when you're drilling in direct proportion to how steep the angle is. They've also added basically kind of a reality feature, but also to give kind of a tactile feedback. the harder the substance that you are drilling through, the slower your vehicle will go while drilling. And of course, if you've got a low power drill like I do, and you're drilling through something really hard, it'll go even slower. So not only do you get that audible feedback of it drilling through something harder now, but now you actually get the rover or the whatever vehicle, the tractor even that it's attached to, it's slowed down quite a bit. And you'll be able to get that tactile feedback, which I really like that. And that's all under the drill resistances. Again, you can kind of read that. There's also been some other tuning to max speeds, staying speeds, a lot of different things like that. And then a ton of bug fixes, including one that I really wish I could show you because I had the bug. If you followed my Astroneer series on YouTube, you know that my solar system, as we can see a planet rising there in the background, my solar system had broken. It was frozen in time. And it was really disappointing, honestly. Well, they have fixed that. However, there's another bug affecting that save file right now that I load it in a minute or two after loading it, the game crashes to desktop. So I can't get in there and show you the change, sadly. I really wish I could because I was able to load it and for about 60 seconds for the first time in months, see all the planets going by and the stars going by the way they should. And it was really awesome. But it is fixed, and hopefully they fix whatever the other bug was, because I do miss my old base. Even though I've come to love this one, I love the setup of it. I love my layout. I think I've got a better location. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever go back and play on that old one. It's 100% it anyway, and this one's a brand new one. I haven't activated any gateways, any chambers, no cores, anything like that. So you can check out all the bug fixes. Again, just head over to the Astroneer Discord server and go to their patch notes. It's just right there in that channel for you to read. But that covers pretty much all the big things that we have for the Astroneer Summer Update 1.2.8.0. That's a lot of points. So that's going to do it for this video. I do have one more Astroneer video coming this week before we take a little bit of a break from Astroneer. The final video of me digging down to the core of Aatrox. It'll also have some spoilers if you've never seen the end cutscene of Astroneer. It's in there, so if you don't want to watch that, maybe skip that part of that video. And so basically, it shows you what 100%ing the game finally looks like, and it'll be kind of cool. And we finally reached the end of that story. Do have one more Astroneer video that I'm working on with a hydrogen bomb project. You've probably already seen my 1,000 hydrogen canister explosion that I did back in May. Well, now we're working on 10,000 inside of a mountain. It's not in this save file, so I can't show you that progress. Even if I could, the frame rate goes down to like 2 when I look at the bomb itself, so I'm not going to go there and do that. But that video should be done, or the project should be done in the video up in about a month. I don't know. It's a really big project. I mean, 1,000 took me about 10 hours of work, and we're doing 10 times the work now, so it's going to take a little while. But at least I have a helper this time, so it'll go a little bit quicker. So watch for that sometime into June, maybe into July, maybe possibly even August. And then, of course, any updates that come out for Astroneer, I will continue to cover those, as well as other special fun little projects that I work on. And I will, of course, continue to stream Astroneer on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights, as I'm in the mood to play Astroneer over on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central Time, so you can check those out. We're going to go ahead and score one more goal. But until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious. I missed.